Hello and welcome to MTM Vegas. No food for you. Virgin Hotels is opening with a controversial new policy. We'll discuss it, plus compare the changes from Hard Rock when it comes to the pool area. We'll also discuss a crazy new policy from Caesars Entertainment. Not so crazy, but they are eliminating grandfathering. Find out what exactly that is. Our governor also removed a requirement for a MOAT between performers and guests, meaning more shows will be able to open. And construction on the Strip is widening down to another area. The next few years are going to be pretty hectic for construction-wise on the Strip. We also learned that the city of Las Vegas passed a provision allowing drive-through dispensaries. All of that coming up right now. If you like the show, if you like the channel, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to leave a comment. We love to discuss everything with you. Thanks so much for watching. Let's hit it. So, Mark, what would MTM Vegas be if we didn't talk about Circa just for a second? And I'm going to be staying there. By the time this actually goes live, I'll have stayed there last night. But I'm staying there tomorrow from when we're recording this. And I'm looking forward to bringing a video of the rooms and everything, but also to finally getting to swim in Stadium Swim, go to the Legacy Club, which people can check out last week's episode if they want more of a review on what Legacy Club is. But I'm excited.
You're just jealous that I've been there and now you want to go.
I guess. Or are you going
to do a King James? You're going to do a King James?
No. You flew out to Vegas just to like upend me, knowing I was going to go there for my anniversary, and just you wanted to get in there before me so you could
exactly
claim that hashtag Circa fanboy crown. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I can't wait to stay in the room, and of course to just spend the afternoon swimming at Stadium Swim and checking that out. And then on our actual anniversary, we're going to stay at Encore at Wynn, and I actually stayed at the Wynn Tower a month or so ago, so it'll be nice to be able to compare them, the rooms, and the experience between Encore and Wynn. And I can't think of a better place to stay on my anniversary, I think, than Wynn and Encore, just with the service and the rooms, and of course through Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts, going to get the $100 credit and free breakfast, all of that other stuff. And I think the rate's $160, so you can't really argue with that when you're getting $180 something in credit. I think. Looking forward to that.
And I love that you're going to be swimming in weather that's basically Michigan weather, because we have the exact same. It was like 56 here and it was 56 there today. So
it sucks because over the weekend the weather was like in the 70s. It would have been perfect days to go swim at Stadium Swim. Yeah, the day we're going to be there, it's going to be in the 50s. But we'll just be there with our head just popping out with our bodies under the water. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But at least our room will be there. We can just pop upstairs and warm up. I'm doing it either way,
yeah,
Mark. I'm
doing it either way. Make sure you leave your aspirin and everything else
yeah.
up in the room, because we wrote an article. I don't know if we ever talked about it on MTM Vegas, but I wrote an article on the site. Like, the rules that Circa Swim has is crazy. Like, you're not allowed to bring any type of medication. No aspirin, no outside water. Like, there was a random list, like no deodorant and just all this random stuff that kind of is like the virgin food and drink policy for the hotel. Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of crazy how much stuff they eliminated from their list. So
it's funny because I actually had that thought when I booked it. I was like, I got to really consult the list to make sure that I know what I can bring in there when I bring stuff down.
Exactly.
Because
just
it's
nothing.
A lot of stuff.
You can't bring anything, basically.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh yeah, I should go down. I should bring the GoPro to film in there. And I was like, I remember seeing no GoPros on the list. Like, I just remember there's everything is banned at Stadium Swim. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be cool to see what you think about the rooms, because I know you said, looking at the pictures and stuff, you thought it was a little bit underwhelming as far as the finishes, if they're shooting for like high end 4-star, 5-star type of location, or room. So it'll be interesting to see what your take is once you see it, because they won't be beat up by now. You know, it's only been open a couple months, so it should be in pristine shape and get a good feel for what it's like and how it will hold up and everything like that.
Yeah, I expect it to be really good, and I don't want to, sound pretentious. I just meant some of the finishes might be a step below some of the best hotels. So we'll see, because I've stayed at most of the high-end, or a lot of the high-end hotels in Vegas recently, so it's a good comparison in my mind. But I'm expecting a really good experience, and I'm totally excited for that. Now, you did hit on the Virgin Hotel's food policy, which is something I discovered this week kind of digging through their website after somebody left a comment on our YouTube video asking about their parking policy. And I found that they had this policy where they're not allowing any outside food or drinks in the hotel at all, saying basically guests can't bring their own water, can't bring their own anything. And apparently, after I posted, I wrote about it. Some other blogs picked it up, but some people commented saying that Hard Rock Hotel also had the same policy. And then there's been some anecdotal evidence that even Wynn might have this policy unofficially. So it remains to be seen exactly how it's going to be enforced exactly. But it is a policy, no outside food or drink if you stay there.
A terrible policy. I mean, because it includes water, it includes, snacks and stuff, which pretty much anywhere I stay, I bring in, maybe some soda or some water and some snacks, some munchies. You wake up in the middle of the night or early in the morning and you want to eat something without having to get dressed and go downstairs. That's there. Like, we were at Link and we had the patio pool area, the cabana area, which, we highlighted last week. And there's a little fridge there, and we stopped at CVS. A buddy stopped at CVS when he was coming into town and picked up a case of beer, and we put it in the fridge, and we drink that whenever the pool bar would close. But we still went to the pool bar and used it when it was open, but it wasn't open all that much. It was open from, like 11 to 5. So if you're there in the evening or you're there earlier and you want to kick off your day, that wouldn't be allowed under their terms. I don't know how they'll enforce it. Probably won't. It'll probably just be like, hey, don't bring a cooler in and be an idiot. But yeah, I think it's something that a lot of people do in Vegas. They pre-mix a drink or have a couple drinks before they go downstairs and go out. Not everybody gambles that they're getting the free drinks while gambling. Some people are there to go to restaurants and go to clubs and stuff and want to, get their drink on a little bit on the cheaper end before they head out and pay $20 a drink and everything like that.
Yeah, I think it's a crazy policy. I mean, I have been on cruise ships and at other resorts, like all-inclusive resorts where they ban you from having outside alcohol and stuff like that, but it doesn't make a lot of sense here. You're probably right that this is a policy that's not going to be strictly enforced, but they're going to have it in case they need to fall back on it. People bringing lots of coolers or people abusing it and having massive parties and, bringing in all their own outside booze because they, hotels also want to protect their convention business. And so I imagine that it's sort of born out of that motivation, but I mean, it is pretty clear in writing, no outside food or drink. So they do, I guess, reserve that right. And we give them the benefit of the doubt because they did take away resort fees. So, we can give them kudos on that.
Like, hey, we'll give you the $30 back a night, and then we're going to charge you $30 for that one drink you want.
Yeah.
Because even at the Link pool, the bar, just to get like a Coke was like $8 or maybe it was $6. But even so, ridiculous amount. Like, that should be a $3 thing, and that's a solid markup. $4 tops, but that's what you're dealing with. So I can't blame people for bringing some snacks and drinks themselves. But
speaking of pools, we got some aerial photography this week on Twitter, and then we can confirm with the map exactly what the pool area is going to look like. And not that this is anything 100% new, but we got some looks at what it looks like, and half the pool area from Hard Rock Hotel has been removed. And again, I'm not saying that this is breaking news. It's sort of news to us. But I did a little video to kind of overlay what it used to look like with what the map looks like. And they took out that whole kind of skinny, lazy river looking kind of section, took out an entire pool. And then what I believe was the family pool, kind of towards the bottom left of the video, is now going to be a day club. So it seems like if you're staying at the hotel, you have a lot less pool options than you used to, unless you're going to pay, which most people probably want to do.
Yeah, assuming that they charge guests to go to the day club, which I think is pretty standard at most of the places in Vegas. So I would assume that's going to happen. That's the biggest pool, at least looking from the video that you have. So that's kind of a kick in the teeth or a kick in the nuts, however you want to say it. I mean, where are the strippers going to hang out on Sundays?
I don't know what you're talking about, but that was a party pool for sure, and we'll see how that vibe is now that they have an official day club, and see how the vibe changes out there from the Hard Rock days. If they're going to get more of like a posh atmosphere with the Virgin Hotels brand than what you had with the Hard Rock brand, but it is definitely different.
Yeah, that grassy area is kind of weird. Like, what are you going to use? They should have just made it like a beach area, I guess, unless. And we were talking before the show, maybe they're going to have concerts out there, or maybe it'll be, for conventions where they have a meeting space and set up tables and like after party type of thing. But it just seems weird to. I mean, I understand ripping out a pool because you want to save the cost of maintaining a pool, but to just put grass there, I don't know. I've never seen that anywhere else in Vegas, so seems strange to me. You could have gone with like a beach theme with chairs and stuff for people to lay out in the sun or something like that, but maybe it'll be really cool. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's purely event space, and they do kind of market it on their website as that. So I think you're going to see weddings there. I think you'll probably see intimate concerts there, and then it'll be for functions that go along with conventions, evening functions for different corporate events, things like that. So I think they're just trying to repurpose that space to generate money, whereas the pool area wasn't directly generating it before. That would be my guess. And we know that all the hotels have sort of rushed to put in more event space the last few years, pre-COVID, of course, but they definitely
Yeah, I don't know.
have
I don't
that.
know about adding it now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very nice space though out by the pool, so we will see how it turns out. But I'm sure it will be an attractive space for different businesses. Just a few more weeks now till Virgin Hotels opens. Can't wait for that to happen and go see it in person. Let's move
I
on
do
to.
what
Oh,
I will say. I hope if they do like intimate concerts, it's one of those the Hilton Honors like you went to at the Waldorf where you could use your Hilton points to go to an intimate concert with only a couple hundred people. With their partnership and everything, that'd be really cool if that's something they offer for Hilton Honors members. And I'm looking forward to checking out a concert at the Waldorf whenever we get back to that level that they can have it. Because what was it, like 40,000 points for two people to go to a, semi-private concert, and have food and drinks and everything, well worth it. Cool experience, so something I want to check out. Hopefully it ends up out on the grassy knoll.
yeah, maybe that would be cool. Come on, Hilton, make it happen. Get an event going there. Of course, Virgin Hotels will have their big theater, which was the Joint, which was a very famous theater. So there are some bigger. I think it has 4,500 seats off the top of my head. So they will have other entertainment there and a lot of interesting things going on there with the restaurants and everything else. And we'll be covering all of that when it opens. Makes more sense to do it then. Let's move on to the next topic because I know that you had been dying to know this. Who is the official disinfectant of MGM Resorts? They released this news this week. I had been wanting to know forever, and they signed a deal. It's official. Clorox, right? It's Clorox, isn't it? I've already forgotten who it is. Oh my god.
Well, what is it? It's either Clorox or Lysol. Like, who else are you going to go with?
No, it is Clorox. I was right.
But those are like your
But
two options, so it just seems like okay, like something I didn't need to know or care about.
yeah,
Who
they
knows
just want us
if
to
you
know that
use?
our safety is important.
Yeah, okay, because Clorox probably paid to put their name on it or something. I don't
Oh,
know.
absolutely. This
You
is
could have you could have used just like rubbing alcohol or whatever. I don't know, like a spray that is cheaper, but hey, whatever floats their boat doesn't matter to me. So
but if you
thanks.
are an MGM Resorts fan, just know you're in safe hands with Clorox
Only if
next
they
time
use
you
it
come to town.
properly.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next thing. It's good news for like shows because one of the crazy requirements that Governor Sisolak has had on shows is there had to be a 25-foot moat between performers and the guests. So a 25-foot space between performers and guests, and that really made it harder in some of the smaller performance venues to put on a show. And some shows weren't able to come back because of that. And now they've gotten away with that restriction, and they're allowing performers to be closer to each other. So some more changes that are allowing more shows to open up quicker. Just another good news item that we should expect more and more shows to announce their reopening here just in the next few weeks as they are allowed to get into tighter quarters and we still have the capacity restrictions, still have that timeline, 250 people coming up quickly, and then May 1st, even more, hopefully after that. But yeah, good news on the show's opening.
Yeah, 25 feet seems a bit excessive, so it's nice to see that cut down. It takes away from some of the show as well as it takes away some seating areas. And when the capacity picks up, you're going to need, and they want to space people out still probably. you're going to need that extra, footage. So good to see it. Probably should have happened a little while ago. 25 feet is just like kind of a random number that they threw at a dartboard, I feel like. So good move.
All right, now let's talk about the next thing is we're going to talk about grandfathering. And admittedly, I hadn't heard this term. I thought we were referring to our friend PDX kind of playing cards with you, and he was the grandfather in the grandfathering scenario. But
if he watches this, he's going to hate you right now.
Apparently, that's not the case. But Vital Vegas said that Caesars is doing away with grandfathering. Explain what that is. You've utilized it to your advantage.
Yeah, so if you're at a table, playing craps or blackjack or, anything like that, let it ride. And you're at the table, like, let's say you sit down, it's a $10 table, and then you're there for a while, you're there for several hours, and they switch it, up to $15 or $25, whatever, as it gets later in the night, usually the table minutes go up. So if you've been sitting there from when it was $10, you could always bet $10. Like, as long as you sit there until you get up, you're grandfathered in at that price point. So other people would come in, new people would come in, and they'd have to adhere to the $25 minimum, but you could still be sitting there betting $10 or $15, whatever it was, when you got there. And that was nice, it kind of paid people back that had been there for a while and had been playing for a while. Or on the flip side, if you came in to sit at a table or play roll craps or whatever, and they switch it up in the middle of the first roll or whatever, at least you're grandfathered in that you don't have to go, whoa, I just got here and you're already upping the price on me. So they've gotten away with that. They're saying that they're not going to be doing it anymore, which is a negative for the player. I don't think a lot of tourists probably cared that much, but I think it affects more of the local people that would go there earlier in the day and then sit there for a while. Tourists are like, hey, I'm here to blow money or whatever. So I guess that I can see it from their perspective, because you're basically losing a seat that could be bringing in $25 a hand, and it's only bringing in $10 or $15 a hand. So they're losing that revenue, but it also rewarded people that had been there for a while and have been playing. So I've taken advantage of it a few times, but it won't affect me much. But I know some people will probably be upset about it.
Just seems like another, anytime they can have a courtesy or another thing they can take away, like a little thing.
Especially with Caesars. It's just like they're on a roll of being cheap.
They are. I mean, it's almost as if they lost $1.8 billion last year and they're trying to...
they only made $80 million the year before, so they're like, hey, this is going to take us like decades to get back, so we need to figure this out quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that there's going to be these changes, and then we'll see how that affects the customer experience, and then if people decide to go elsewhere where they might get treated a little bit better, or if they're able to kind of keep their position in the middle, people will put up with it. Sometimes they will, with cheap hotel rates, maybe they will.
I was just thinking like, they're like, hey, you're going to pay more resort fee to come here, and then we're going to up the table games on you in the middle of a hand while you're drinking half as much booze as you used to. Have a good time. Enjoy it.
Welcome to Las Vegas, baby. And people, and that's why we get so many crazy comments about people that hate Las Vegas and say, that it's the worst place in the world. So yeah, we can complain.
Stay at the link. You get the fridge.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they do. All the Caesars properties actually do give you a fridge,
and they even let you bring stuff in. So there you go. Wink, wink.
There you go. For now. Although
that'll be the next thing. They'll be like, hey, if you want this fridge, it's gonna be $20 a night, just so you know.
No, I mean they heard what Virgin Hotels has said about outside food and drinks, so I'm sure the hammer's coming down pretty soon.
Yeah, no doubt.
They get the idea. So the other story that came this week is marijuana drive-thrus coming to Las Vegas. That just got approved by the city council, and we've had like pickup marijuana for basically since COVID started. But it seems like not only we have the drive-through wedding chapels, now they're trying to make this permanent where you can just drive up, get marijuana. Seems to be like just make it as easy as possible for people to get it, which was something that was very different before COVID, where it was much more regimented and it's a thing to stay. So
it does make sense for older people or people that have medical issues, and that's why they need the weed. I guess that they don't have to get out of the car. There are some unique rules with it, like you can't have a minor in the car while you're doing it, and if you're doing it this way, you have to order it before you get there, and you cannot exit your vehicle. You have to do the whole transaction while you're sitting in your vehicle. So there are some rules about it. It seems more like a pull-up thing versus a drive-thru. I don't know if they're going to get to actual drive-thrus, and then will you have to wait as long as you do at McDonald's for 4 cars to go through? Probably.
But they got to have a second window where you can order fast food too after you get hungry, in between.
There you go.
So
It'll be like
window one is
put
get
it-
your weed.
put it right next to a fast food, and then bam. That's what you should do. Open it up right next to it. Let's make millions. There you go.
I don't know. There's so many dispensaries here now. It's sort of crazy. And I know they have some really huge ones that do have these big pickup operations. But it does seem like they are kind of moving to make these rules permanent. And I think that it's just going to make, marijuana tourism is going to become bigger and bigger here. And they're trying to find ways to make people.
I don't think people are going to be like, oh, I'm definitely going to smoke weed now that I don't have to get out of my car. Like, if they're going to smoke weed, they're going to go get it. So I think it just helps. It helps more the local people, the older people, stuff like that. Makes it a little bit easier. Unless there are legit drive-thrus that you just roll up and say, hey, give me that. And they're like, here you go. See you later.
I think we need the combination drive-through, dispensary and wedding chapel. I think we need to figure this out.
And a Taco Bell, because they have the wedding chapel and the Taco Bell.
And a Long John Silver's too. Fish and chips at the ceremony.
Fish and chips and a taco.
All right, and our last story here is the Strip is going to be a mess. If you've been on the Strip lately, I don't know if you've been on. You've been on the North Strip where it's all torn up by Resorts World and basically just fully under construction all the way up to Charleston. They're actually going to be wrapping up that construction as Resorts World gets ready to open, and then moving construction down to the south near Mandalay Bay. And this is like a 4-year project, 7-part project that they're only moving into the second phase. So parts of the Strip are going to be torn up through 2024. But just kind of a word to the warning, if you're going to be in the Mandalay Bay area, that south end, kind of south of Mandalay Bay, is going to be torn up for about the next 14 months as they redo everything.
This was like when they had it all shut down for 3-4 months. They should have just hit it hard and gotten a lot of this stuff done. Like the Strip had no traffic, no cars. Should have taken advantage of it, hindsight 2020 and all, but they're not even adding capacity, right? It's just like they're fixing the road and then adding new water lines.
Yeah, so they're adding another lane where they can, but there's no way to widen the road. But I think in certain areas where they can do that with the median, they're doing that. Yeah, and it's all new water lines, everything underneath, all new paving. They've done all the bollards lately, or pretty much through the whole Strip, which is all part of that. And so in certain areas,
and they added that sign. They added the sign.
Yes, the arch. In the area like around Resorts World, you can actually see where they've made the boulevard, I'd say about a lane wider, where they pared back the sidewalk and they made it wider. And so that's some of that project that's been going on. It's going to be all nice when it's done. I think they're putting some new pedestrian stuff in the areas where pedestrians cross, trying to put new technology so the signals work better to help the better flow of traffic. So it should hopefully help the corridor there altogether. But 2024 is a long time, and it's pretty nasty because in some cases it gets down to one lane. So just expect. And they haven't done.
I always try to avoid the Strip if at all possible anyway, so it doesn't really affect me.
And they haven't done the heart of the Strip, the Flamingo area, and that's something that's going to be done in one of the future corridors. That's going to be an ugly period of time when they do that, because Flamingo is the ugliest intersection on the Strip, and that's all going to be coming. So look forward to that on a future trip. And we wanted to do a shout out to Fred B, our weekly comment. We're going to do a shout out to a commenter every single week. Fred's always on top of our comments, and great discussion always. Always not just commenting, but engaging us in great discussion, and we definitely appreciate that. Make sure to leave a comment on this video. Thanks, Fred. Leave a comment on this video. Smash the thumbs up button. Let us know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
See you next week. Stay blurry.